This is Hannibal here from thehannibaltv.com with a daily wrestling news update. I did do a review of the Marty Jannetty Dark Side of the Ring. The link is in the description. They had told me they were going to use a clip of me in it, but for whatever reason, they didn't. I believe it was going to be a clip of me talking about how I didn't believe his murder story, which they spent a lot of the Dark Side of the Ring talking about, even though the police investigated it and found there was nothing to it. Mick Foley is in the news today, sticking up for Rhonda Rousey, who a lot of people don't like due to her negative comments about wrestling. She made a lot of money. She made apparently 1.5 million a year plus 2.5 million a year in merch sales. So she definitely sold a lot of merch. Mick Foley, so I didn't even read the whole thing because I didn't find it that interesting. I do like Mick Foley though. I forgive him for yelling at me when I was a kid. Overall, he seems like a great guy. That was probably just a bad night for him. Survivor Series Montreal night when we gave him a ride to his hotel. But he did a Facebook post praising Ronda Rousey, saying that he thinks it's unlikely that WrestleMania 35's history-making main event would have happened without Rousey. I don't even remember what that main event was. Some type of a tag match involving Rousey. We did a poll on the Hannibal TV about what you people think, what you great fans, I should say, which you are, think about Ronda Rousey's departure. Where do you think she's going to go? There was a lot of negative comments, which I'm not going to put up. A lot of you guys really hate Ronda Rousey. And overall, 63% of you said you want her to take a break from wrestling. 17% say AEW, 21% say UFC. I think there's a good chance Tony Khan will probably make her a great money offer. AEW's schedule is really light. Who knows if she's going to have another kid or not. Then again, she had two really bad losses in UFC that she admittedly found disturbing. Maybe she'll give another shot at UFC, or she's made a ton of money in her career. Maybe she'll just stay out of the spotlight since she doesn't seem to like being in the spotlight very much. Who knows? I personally think AEW, if I was running AEW or was talent relations, since they have, like, Paige is a known women wrestler. I know Dr. Britt Baker's over. Those are the two I know. I know there's others. I have liked their women. Nyla Rose. I mean, that's a third, but that's not necessary. That's more for how controversial she was when she first got in. But I know that they have. And the Bunny. So I do know some, but I do think Ronda Rousey would add to the star power. And it recently came out that it's a very supposedly catty backstage women environment. Whether that's true or not, because Lufisto, who's a former Mexican women wrestler and had success in Canada, was a Great North Wrestling Women Champion at one point. She made some comments about the backstage environment being really bad in AEW for women, and then she deleted her Twitter account and pulled out of the show she was booked on. So it's almost like she was taking it back. She also said Dustin Rhodes told her that all French people are assholes. So there's a lot of stuff said, but my whole point was Ronda Rousey's not going to give a damn about that kind of environment, and I doubt they're going to treat her like shit, since I'm pretty sure she could beat up anyone in AEW at the women's side. As far as Endeavor goes, it did come out, as I reported yesterday, they're closing their deal with WWE by October, and there's going to be a lot of quote, cost saving and synergies when UFC and WWE merge. And I actually didn't fully know the definition of synergy, so I looked it up, and it's the interaction or cooperation of two organizations to produce a combined greater effect than the sum of their separate effects. So you would think that would mean there would be some on-air crossover. To me, I mean, for people that say the UFC and Endeavor, whatever you want to call them, they said that there would be no crossover. They also said at one point they weren't interested in buying WWE. So it only makes sense to have people like McGregor crossing over, Dana White. Dana White showing up on Raw, you don't think that's going to be a ratings hit? And at the same time, I can see them not caring so much about the big, like, re-signing a lot of the people. Of course, the Brock Lesnar's and like the real major stars like the John Cena's, they're probably not going to want to let out of whatever deals they have with WWE. But there's so many people under contract, I can see them getting rid of a lot of the fluff. And why do you need two separate rosters? Why do you need a separate Raw and SmackDown roster? Why not just make the best and have all the best people appear on one show? And for development, who knows what's going to happen with development? There's a lot of money wasted in development, in my opinion. Logan Paul says there's going to be a clause in his upcoming boxing fight contract with Dylan Dennis, who I had never heard of, being a casual MMA fan. Apparently he's had 2 fights, but he's known for backing out a fight. So there's a clause in the contract he'll have to pay $100,000 if he pulls out of this fight due to a fake injury. Bad Bunny has been nominated for 3 MTV Video Music Awards this year. You could call him a wrestler for the amount he's wrestled. David, yeah, I'm not sure that Rhonda Rousey's into it, but if AEW offers her enough money, I don't see why she would turn it down. Because it's huge money for a real easy job. Wrestling is a lot easier than MMA. And she's not going to have a ton of years left. Well, depending on how well she takes care of her body. But it wouldn't surprise me if she has another kid. People hate her, though. People universally hate her. Would I interview Pat Tanaka? I never interviewed Pat Tanaka, only Kato. Brian Burson, who I have respect for, so I'll read his comment, which is, I believe, a joke, but he's a lawyer from New York. I heard Lex Luger saw the rubber chicken from WrestleMania 39 at a convention. He ran to him and said, "Frankie, I never thought we'd see each other. How is Coco Beware? Is this true?" Oh my God. That is hilarious. That is absolutely hilarious. That's the funniest joke I've heard in a while. And he's referring to a Wrestling Observer archive report where Lex Luger was apparently out of it and saw Billy Jack Haynes. This was in 2006. And ran up to Billy Jack Haynes and said, "Macho Man, I thought I'd never see you again." And was acting like Billy Jack Haynes, who I admit in recent years he's had health problem, but around 2006 he probably still kind of looks similar to Macho Man. But I did ask Billy Jack Haynes about that, and I'm glad that Brian brought that joke, and I'll put it up again because it is absolutely hilarious. And that he incorporated the rubber chicken, which he likes to joke about, is even funnier. But by the way, R.I.P. to Frankie, who we all love. But Billy Jack Haynes says he's going to talk to me this week. He wants to do an interview with me this week about Elizabeth. After I asked him about that, he said he has something he wants to get off his chest about Elizabeth. David expects to see most NXT talent competing as main stars. I don't see the point, like other than big celebrities and stuff, or maybe a much smaller development system. I don't think you need it as much anymore because they created that when they didn't have competition, when WCW and ECW closed. I mean, if you want to continue training these athletes, which other than Brock Lesnar, I mean, Gable Stevenson might. I mean, he's a super amazing athlete, another exception. But like, how many of these athletes, college athletes that they keep hiring, are actually becoming mega stars? To me, it seems like a big waste of time. Hire people that are seasoned and are proven in other companies like AEW or Impact or NWA or MLW. I would definitely cut back on the development system. Grandma Daisy Piper is on the couch right now. She had a great day. She's going to be with me for a while. She loves the summer. She loves tanning. Mop Shop, am I going to upload the Jeremy Prophet match? Yes.